Wintry conditions are here and ruts are something we as mountain bikers don't really come across all too often, so riding them is a bit of a dark art. But today, it's a bit wet, it's a bit muddy, and ruts are starting to form left, right and centre on the trails, mainly because they get a bit softer and a bit more weathered in. So we're going to be taking a look at how's best to tackle these sneaky little things. Oh, oh my God! But what is a rut, I hear you ask? Well, ruts like this, they form over time through many mountain bikes going through them, if you like, and under braking, so they wear the ground away. Once that ground starts to wear away and then it rains as well, then it just washes all that loose dirt away, giving a nice little rut that you're going to get stuck in. Well, hopefully not. Ruts aren't the simplest of things to ride, so this is where we're going to start, kind of with a few basic techniques on what you do with your body and your bike to be able to tackle these slippery little suckers. Now, when you're tackling these sneaky little babbers here, you'll notice they're like a funnel. They're very difficult to get out of once you get stuck in them, and especially the deeper they get because, well, there's very little room for manoeuvre, so you're kind of just wedged in there. So what do we do then riding these ruts? Well, try and keep your body weight back. This is going to make the front end slightly lighter. So what's going to happen is when you're stuck in that rut or when you're channeled in it, the front end's going to sort of almost be guided by the rut. What happens if you have too much of your body weight over the front, the steering is going to get really heavy and sort of almost difficult to maneuver. And if you start catching the edges of that rut as well, then that's when things could really start to go wrong, as it's a bit of a vicious circle and your body weight will start to get pitched even more forwards. Finally, keep those pedals nice and level, especially when you're going in a straight line. It's going to keep them up out of the way and stop them from catching on any sides. And it's also going to allow you to move your body weight around a lot easier, making all those sort of micro movements that you're going to need to do. So that's the basic technique done then for how to ride ruts, but these pesky things are seldom always in a straight line. More often than not, unfortunately, they appear in here, a turn, because, well, basically that's where the most riding, the most braking and the most weathering goes on. Body position doesn't really change too much when tackling ruts in turns like this. You're still going to want to keep your weight fairly back, if not even a little more so in a turn. The reason for this is, well, because you can see they're very soft and squishy, or if it's like a really dry, loamy type of rutted turn, well, they can have big soft spots and holes in them, which are really going to suck in your wheel. So if your weight's too far forwards and your front wheel compresses into a big soft spot in the turn, it's going to shoot all your body weight forwards and you're going to go out the front door, and that's never a good thing. Coming into anything that looks like this is going to require a certain amount of speed. Too slow and, well, you're probably going to sink into all this horrible smushy soft stuff here and, well, just slow down or not have the speed to get through the turn properly, sort of stand up in it. Too quick and you're either just going to blow out the turn completely or just completely shoot over the top of it, because they only give you so much support. Depending upon the direction of the turn, aim to keep the inside pedal up high. It will stop it catching or dragging on any of this more solid part of the rut here. If the ruts do start to get really deep on both sides because they're so worn through, you might want to then start playing with keeping the pedals level, but that's something you're going to have to sort of make a decision on at the time and depending upon the rut you're riding. Okay, a little word of warning here for right-handers. They can have a nasty habit of catching your rear mech. If you go in a bit too hard or a bit too tight on the turn and you start dragging that mech through the inside, then it can, well, sometimes rip it off, unfortunately, or bend the hanger, and it can be game over to your day of riding, and that is never a good thing. What about then linking nasty rutty turns like these two together? Well, it's the same basic technique as you do for one turn, but you just got to do the opposite, and that's something that we're going to go through right now. Ooh, gosh, this is a slippery one. As you come out of the first turn, notice how I'm compressed into the bike with my outside foot lowered, always looking ahead. Once the turn begins to end, I start to stand up out of the bike, shifting my weight to the center, leveling the pedals, always keeping my eye on the next turn. As I enter the next turn, I begin to shift my weight back, again crouching down into the bike and dropping that outside pedal. Looking at the exit, always making micro movements to shift my body around. keeping the front end light so it doesn't catch an edge. Thank you very much for watching then, everybody. That is it for riding ruts relentlessly today. It's been a fun time, a crashy time and a muddy time, but I've enjoyed it and I hope you have as well. If you've got any ideas for videos you'd love to see us make this year, then why not drop us a comment below, give us a little thumbs up, and I'll catch you next time. Happy riding, everyone.